Hi, John Park here, and welcome back to the first video of the 2023 season with fly fishing Rutland Water. Just a minute, this is not Rutland Water. Today we're doing something completely different, something I've always wanted to do. Past this river on so many occasions when I used to work in Aberdeen. I used to pass it twice a week, and I always wanted to fish it since I saw Paul Young fish it on the Hooked on Scotland or Hooked on Fishing series. I can't remember which one it was. And it just looks like a lovely river. It's a really nice size, and it's a really good early season river. This river is just to the east of Edzell, just north of Brecon, and it's a fabulous piece of water. We've got 3 beats. Now I have this one to myself this morning, so this is my chance to get some really good footage of early season salmon fishing. Completely different techniques from fly fishing Rutland Water, so hopefully we can do something different, because as they say, a change is as good as a rest. So let's get on with it. Now this is a fabulous rundown here. With salmon fishing, I think it's even more important than trout fishing. You have to kind of think like a salmon. So this is quite a fast run. So the salmon are going to come up here through the deep water and probably pause here for a little bit while they think about where they're going. Now I fish the faster water at the top of the pool. Now partly because there's cold water coming in from this burn, it pushes the fish a little bit further down. So I'm going to focus on the tail end of the top end of the pool, down through the more fishier looking water. I'm fishing a sinking line because the fish will be very low down in the water. I'm fishing a double-handed 14-foot spey rod, and I'm having to fish what's called a double spey cast. You've got to get the sinking line on the surface of the water, so you have to do a kind of roll cast to start off with, just to get it in the right place. That's right. And then when it's in the right place, we do a double spey. We lift around at 45 degrees, back for my D loop, and then out. And that's perfect. That's literally hit just in the spot I want to fish. Little upstream mend, and then just let the fly come around in the deep water. I'm fishing a fly I've never fished before. It's called a monkey. I'm on this trip with Craig Barr. He gave me a last minute invitation, and it was Craig that told me that this was the fly that they were recommended to use. So again, lift the line, get it onto the surface, up, round, bound behind me. Excellent. And the trick is to get a length of line that you're comfortable with, and then just stick with that. Beautiful morning. It's March 20th of March. This bit down the bottom of the pool here, this looks to me like the fishiest bit. Now normally with salmon fishing you'd keep on the move, but in this particular spot there's no one else on the beat, so I have it to myself, so I can spend as much time as I like in the areas where I think there's a chance of catching a fish. So get the line on the surface, up, round, and out. Ah, perfect. That's what you want to do. I think I'm probably casting a little bit too hard. Got to think about just punching. Ideally you want to be fishing about 45 degrees downstream. Bring the line up, get it down, back up, round. Yeah, that's it. Let me just try a little bit more line. Up, up, line on the water, up. Yeah, that's it. Probably need to throw it higher in the air a little bit, but we're kind of doing okay. Give the fly a couple of little pulls, just pulling, because there's a yellow running line. I can kind of see where I need to load the rod, so left, get the fly onto the line onto the surface, yep, up, round, round, and then that's it. Don't need to cast too far. We just really want to hit the ripple and let it come down into the round into the slacker water. Oh, what was that? Oh, that was either a boulder or an inquisitive salmon. Probably a boulder, I think. But it would be nice if it was an inquisitive salmon. It's worth taking a little bit more time over the cast when you're salmon fishing, just to get the fly in the spot that you want it. That's where I want it, just on the edge of the deep stream. Let the deep line take it down. You want to fish right into the slack water. Sometimes the fish can be really close in, and apparently there's some, if you look down there you can see these kind of red sandstone slabs that are providing a little bit of cover for the fish. There's a little bit of colour in the water, but not a huge amount. Ideally you'd want it crystal clear, but we've got the river running, which is what we need. Round, back. Perfect. Sometimes it's nice to be the first rod down the pool in the morning. Sometimes that's it's the first fly that the fish see is the one that they want. It's been 10 years since I was last salmon fishing with a double-handed spey rod. My arm's aching already. Now, you remember last year at Rutland I had this fascination for being able to cast left-handed, because when you're fly fishing and for salmon, you have to be able to cast ambidextrous. So I'm going to just try a left-handed spey cast now, just to try something different. Up the, well, that wasn't quite, never quite got the deal up there. We need to get the fly above me. So up, round. Well, actually, left-handed works better than the right-handed double spey. It kind of depends on the wind direction. The wind today is fairly benign, so I can probably cast any way I like. I could probably cast just single-handed backwards here if I wanted to, but I just kind of, there's something nice about doing a properly executed spey cast. I'm using a tube fly to help me get down to the fish. Oh, that was nice. That was exactly what I wanted. Upstream bend. Depending on the height of the water, the fish will sit in different places. This is quite fast, so they're going to be running up through that. I think they're going to be sitting more in the tail end of this run down into the slacker water. There were fish caught here on Friday, I think, so there's a Friday and Saturday, so there is a chance there are fish in the system. Well, there have been fish in the system. You tend not to see many salmon jumping at this time of the year because the water's cold, so they tend to stay deep in the water. Excellent, that's what I'm after. That's exactly the right amount of line as well. Got the rhythm now. Didn't take too long considering I've been away from it for 10 years. There's always the chance of fish running through the system, particularly when there is there's a bit of rain coming off the hills, which there has been over the weekend. You have to let the fly come right into the side, and just sometimes the fish will take when you're pulling back. I've known that to happen. Oh! That's a boulder, I think. I thought that was a fish for a second. Right, I think we've caught a boulder, so that means we know we're getting down deep enough. My hopes did get a little bit raised there. That means I'm getting to the right depth though, that's the important thing. You need to be getting, it shows I'm getting down to where the boulders are, which is where the fish are going to be sitting. Yeah, that's it. It's a lovely morning. Doesn't feel cold at all. Timing is absolutely essential. Sometimes it's worth taking a couple of goes at the upstream cast, the first of the two casts, just to get the line properly out. That really hit the spot that time. Gonna cast a little bit further out as I come further down. Oh, some anglers coming along on the other bank, so I'm probably gonna have a bit of company. We'll just have to try and stagger our approach. That means I'll have to keep moving now because I've got to make sure that I give them space. Probably a little bit square there. These boulders are giving me false alarms. I'm going to pull it back a little bit as we get nearer those boulders because just sometimes a little bit of movement in the fly can make a difference. I'm going to cast more downstream here. Stood on my line there. God, these rods are heavy. When you hook a rock, you just let some line out and pull, and the belly pulls the fly round. Doing surprisingly okay. Gets a bit tricky up here though. Just where the water gets really nice, the bank gets a little bit eroded from the winter storms. Now this is where you would go left-handed because of that tree. So let's see if we can get the left-handed cast working. Where's the line? Yeah, that works. So this is where the need for ambidextrous casting comes in. If you can see down here, because of the tree, I can't really do the double space, so I'll have to switch to a left-handed single space. I'm just trying to get a feel for where that fly's hitting the water. So that's it. That's it. Need the fly to land in the water up there so I can form the D-loop and cast downstream. Actually, this is not a bad time to show you the fly while I move the camera. The fly I'm using is a fairly heavy tube fly. It's called a monkey, and apparently it's one of the flies for this particular river. Tube fly with a double hook. Quite big. I might go down the smaller fly, we'll see how it goes. Got to change fly. I want to put a slightly lighter fly on. And that one, now this one is another monkey, but it's not as heavy. I'm hoping that this one will maybe just hover above the rocks a little bit better. So I want to dance above the rocks rather than going in amongst them. The line's already heavy enough. We've managed to get in amongst the rocks already, so let's try a slightly lighter fly and see what it can do for us. Oh, it's just a little trout jumping out the water over there. Now the wind's blowing upstream, which is perfect for a left-handed spey cast. Perfect. Wind direction makes a big difference here. The wind's just changed, and as soon as the wind changed, it made doing the left-handed cast a little bit easier. Right, so there's a spot here that looks quite nice, but it's quite narrow, just between these two trees. But I think it's well worth the go, so I'm going to give a few casts in here from a bit higher up on the bank. Water's a little bit slacker. Watch the trees. This is what spey casting's all about. It's designed to help you avoid the trees. Oh, come on! That was a take. That wasn't a boulder because I'm higher up in the water with this line. I was too slow. I was pulling back. Sometimes they will come back. Not often. It's amazing how many I've caught at the tail end of the run like that, when you think the game is up. Fish will just often come round at the last minute and have a look. Right, so we're going to have a second run down this section. I've changed my line. I've now got a Rio Versatip line on that has a sink tip and a floating line. I just wanted to try and come a bit higher above these boulders, just to see if maybe I was going a little bit too deep. It's interesting, as you look at the water, the colour that was in the water yesterday seems to be dissipating as we lose some of the peat. Now I'm using this Versatip line because I'm hoping it'll be slightly easier to cast. My casting hasn't been too bad, considering I haven't done this for a very, very long time. I just felt that other line was a little bit heavy. I think that might have been one that I bought for my 10 weight rod. Just felt a little bit heavy. I was struggling to turn it over a little bit, but with this 14-foot rod, I think I bought this Rio line specially for it. That feels a little bit easier. It's turning over better. So we'll give this a try. Wind's slightly upstream, so I've got to find the loading point for this line now. Oh, that's better. Oh, that's going out better. I like that. And a lot outstream then. Because the running line is floating and the tip is sinking, I can actually see the water I'm covering much more accurately. And I'm hoping that there's less chance of me hitting the boulders, but the sink tip gets me down far enough. I like the way that's fishing a lot better. Yeah, I do like that. I think that other line was just too heavy rated for the rod. Yeah, that's much better. That's going out much straighter. And like I say, I can see where it's fishing. That's now just fishing the end of the V. Coming round from the V into the deep water, I can see the floating line is sinking down just a little bit, which is hopefully going to get me into the zone. This isn't a very long run. Reminds me very much of a run I used to fish on the Aberdeenshire Don. I'm going to go up a little bit higher just to see if there's maybe fish sitting in the slightly faster water here. Oh, that is casting much better. Oh, and I can see where the line, the fly's hitting the right spot a lot better. Yeah, I feel I'm fishing much better into the side here. Yeah, like that. It's a lot better. Let's try a left hand on and see how the left-handed cast is going. Yeah, that's good. Much better. Much better casting line. That sinking line was just a little bit too heavy for the rod, I think. And with that upstream wind, I feel much more comfortable with the left-handed spey cast. Bring the line out of the water, up, round. Much better. We're just into the run. It's amazing the slightest little difference can make. It's all about depth, just like trout fishing. The difference here is you tend not to be retrieving the fly. Not until the end of the cast, anyway. Ah, it's okay. Thought I caught the leader. Now, learned this lesson in Canada. If you get a tangle, check the fly. Once it's fished, probably one of the most prolific beats of the Miramichi, with the fly tied backwards around my line, you're not going to catch fish like that. That's fine. Gilly on the other side's on his phone, obviously talking to his friends further down the river, looking for intel and information. Couldn't really wish for a better day. The river height is smashing. The clarity is excellent. It was a little bit peaty yesterday, but today it seems to have got a little bit better. Much better. Throw the upstream end just to get the line round. So the double and the right-handed double spey and the left-handed single spey working much better with this line. Not hitting the boulders like I was earlier on, which means I should be slightly above them and hopefully just slightly above where the fish are lying. Finishing at the bottom end of the beat with a bit of spinning. So one cast at 45 degrees upstream, one straight across, one 45 degrees downstream. So this one is the straight across stream. Oh, salmon down there, further down the river, came straight out of the water. Trouble is, when I see a salmon doing that, I kind of think that it's not actually going to be a taken fish. That's one that feels like it's moving up the river fast. I can also see where the run is now. The run is in that. Faster water. Well, thanks for coming fly fishing on the Pert beat in the Luther pool of the North Esk in Bonny Scotland. We weren't able to catch any fish for you today. I'm going to stop filming because I've got 6 sessions over the next 3 days, different places in the morning and the afternoon, so I'll film a little bit in each and hopefully we'll give you a bit of a flavour for what this river has to offer, including going for the heathen art of spinning. If you've liked this video, please make sure you hit the like button, and I'd be delighted if you would subscribe to the channel to see more of my fishy adventures. Thanks for watching.